'Cause we are one people, one creature, one sky. And it is not a fate that we should be divided. And that's who we already is.
Yeah. Parapreneurs in the house.
We got so much to do. We got even more to lose. The world is changing. Everyone.
What's going on, guys? Hello. What's up? Yeah. It's about to be on. Share the feed if you can, guys. Thank you for the shares. Nice. What a PJ. It is time, Judy. The music's not too loud, is it? It's my boy Mike Love. The song's called Never Retire. It's a Rasta song. But if you guys saw Fabian's broadcast yesterday, goals versus mission, when you're on a mission, you don't retire. You never retire, man. You know what I'm saying? Love that song. You've heard it, huh? Nice. Share it up. Ja Rastafari, yeah, man. All we know all about it, man. Yeah. Chase Norton in the house. What up, dog? Nice. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to try and get into... I got a bunch of notes. Try and get a bunch much out as possible. You know what's going down when the hair is going up? Yeah. PJ, Mike Love, Never Retire. It's on YouTube. Check it out. Nate Dizzle, what up, dog? We're talking about our boy Keese here, so stay tuned. Dope to hope. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to get into it. Good to go? Mr. Braff, what's up, playa? Good to see you in here. Alright, cool. I'm just going to get into it. So, Elise, what's up? I'm going to get into this. So, the title you guys saw, it's Dope Dealer to Hope Dealer. Everybody knows what a dope dealer is, I'm pretty sure. If not, go watch Scarface or go watch the movie Blow. Hope Dealer might not make a whole lot of sense, but I'm going to explain that towards the end and let you know what that transition looked like in terms of moving from a dope dealer to a hope dealer and what that is now. What is dope? Crack rocks, coke, whatever. Dope, you know. I'm sure that was a joke, but... So, two things I want to leave you with today, though, by the end of it. Obviously, I'm going to get into my story. I'm going to share, my history, some of the stuff I went through, some of the businesses I've started, some of my failures, some of my success. Blow is a great movie. And then what I want to leave you with is that in every single business, I don't care if it's public, I don't care if it's private, I don't care if it's product-based, service-based, legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. Every single business, they all have one common thread. I'm going to touch on that and how I've developed that skill throughout all these things that I've gone through. And then I want to also talk about, I mentioned this on a blab the other day, about when I stopped trusting myself, things changed, and I started moving towards what I was supposed to do. Yeah, I sold drugs. I'm going to get into that. So stay tuned. It's going to be interesting. So when I stopped trusting myself, and that might sound weird, but I'm going to show you why you should probably do the same. So let me just get into it, and I'm just going to start rolling out. I'm going to talk about a little bit of my adversities, some of the stuff I went through. Starting when I was a kid, my parents divorced when I was 2, so I basically didn't really know a normal home. I pretty much lived out of a suitcase. I was at my dad's house a couple of days, and I'd be at my mom's house a couple of days, and it was just back and forth constantly, so I didn't really have a home per se. I was always living out of a suitcase going from one house to another, which... You can always pull good out of bad. The good news about that is that I'm an amazing packer. I could pack like the best of the business, probably. I'm set up to be able to travel because of that, because of my history. So you can... Sean Thomas in the house. What's up, Doc? Thanks for inviting followers. I appreciate that. So, yeah, you could pull a good out of any single bad. So parents divorced at 2. I lived out of a suitcase. But the thing is, that set me up to be able to understand how to travel and how to always be on the move, which is great. So it also set me up to be independent, which in business class in college, they did a study about entrepreneurs and some of the things that they had in common. One of the main things they had in common is that they're very independent and they can get stuff done on their own. So me being kind of back and forth and kind of doing my own thing, that set me up to be independent and be able to get stuff done on my own. So the hustle, everybody talks about the hustle. My hustle started real early. I was hustling straight out the room, baby. So as a young kid, probably like maybe 5, something like that, I had a lemonade stand, had a flower stand. I would just cut my mom's flowers and sell them. She was cool with it, so everything worked out with that. Another thing, I had this little like toy thing where you can make like little like rubber like scorpions and spiders and all this kind of stuff. So I started making those and started selling those as a little kid. So my hustle started real early. I was just in it. I don't know how I even developed that, because coming from my past, like my mom, she was basically an executive secretary. My dad was a scientist. He ran a lab for BASF. So it wasn't like I come from business. I don't come from some wealthy background, standard blue collar type stuff. We weren't poor, but we definitely weren't rich. That's for sure. I started going through some interesting experiences very young in life. I was introduced to tragedy and adversity very young in life. Tony D's in the house, nice. My uncle died when I was a young kid. I was probably like 10 or 11, and it was an interesting experience. He was gay, had AIDS, and was a meth head. He actually lived out here in California. You would think after seeing that I'd not want to move to California, but I still wanted to get out here. So I saw him die in the hospital at the age of 10 from AIDS, which is very scary, and it kind of opened up my eyes to the shortness of life and the real value of life and how short it could be based on your decisions. So moving forward, a couple years later, my mom died when I was about 13, and she died in a drunk driving accident, one car. She partied all the time. But the thing was, so at 13 that happened. Obviously, that's a tragic event. But from that, I had to basically a couple different things. Number one, it forced me to kind of believe in something afterlife. So when you lose your mom or you lose somebody that close, you have to believe. You have to believe they're somewhere. You have to believe you're going to see them again someday. So it kind of moved me into that direction of believing in whatever, heaven, God, something. At that point, I had to believe there was something else, because I couldn't take the fact that I was never going to see my mom again. Also, I'm going to try and get through today without crying, because I'm going to talk about a lot of crazy stuff. And I'm a crier, but I'm cool with that. So another thing that opened my eyes to is that I need to take care of myself. I'm not going to always have people around to wash my clothes, clean my dishes, take care of myself. I need to do it on my own. So it made me open up my mind to the fact that, like, hey, this is my life. I need to take control of it. And yeah, that's a young age to kind of get that, but it is what it is. When life hands you something, you need to roll on and just kind of move past it and learn what you're going to learn from it. So that happened in 8th grade. That was right before high school. And then I don't know if this is coincidence or not. I think it's more of just because I was going from 8th grade to high school, but immediately after that, it's when I got drunk for the first time. It's when I tried weed for the first time. But I didn't necessarily turn into a pothead until later. So moving into high school, I was a total nerd. I had a 4.0 GPA on a 4.0 scale. I played Dungeons and Dragons. I smashed all my grades. I was on the math team. I actually went to state for math. It was basically me, my white friend, and a bunch of Asians. And then once we got to state, we got wiped. So if you're Asian, no offense, but you guys are good at math. So while in high school, I also I was salutatorian. I had a 4.0, and I actually graduated high school with a semester of college finished. So I took college classes while I was in high school. Total nerd, I know, but on top of that, I was also a 3-sport athlete. I was playing baseball, basketball, and football. So I kind of had this weird mix of being a complete nerd, smashing grades, but also excelling in sports and doing that kind of hustle. So I got my first job when I was in high school, and D&D, nice. I'm glad somebody else played it. I'm not the only one. That 20-sided dice, 4-sided dice. So I got my first job when I was in high school, and I will tell you, it was also my last job. After work, I was basically a cashier at like a convenience store in high school, and it was I don't know, it just wasn't for me, I'll tell you that. So that was the last job I ever had. Ever since then, it's been all hustle. It's all been businesses and doing my own thing on the side, legally or illegally, to not have to work a job, a job, just over broke. No offense if you have a job, but I'm sure you got dreams and aspirations to pull out of that and do your own thing, which we'll get into in a little bit. So when I was doing that job, I noticed a dude, what's up, JC, in the house, nice. When I was doing that job, I noticed a pizza delivery guy stopped in. He was lost, and I was thinking, like, man, I would never be a pizza delivery guy. They're driving around all over the place, don't know where they're going, blah, blah, blah. And then I started thinking about it, like, I could parlay that into some other things. Let me look into this. So then I became a pizza delivery guy, and next step, of course, after that was selling drugs, because it's a perfect combo. Hey, let me get a pepperoni pizza. Okay, that'll be $250. Here's your stuff. So it just kind of worked out good for me. I'll tell you a quick story about my first drug deal ever. So I went to the west side of Chicago, which is gangster. They call it Chirac. Nate Dizzle's in here. He'll tell you. I mean, it's the highest homicide rate in the nation most years. It's just crazy over there. So we pulled up. I get out in the car. I'm about to get out of the car because we're about to do a deal, right? I'm about to buy 3 pounds. It was my first deal ever. And the guy looks at me like I'm crazy, and he goes, dude, what are you doing getting out of the car? I'm like, well, I got the money. I'm supposed to go in and buy this. Like, let's go do this deal. He's like, dude, you're white. You don't get out of the car. You will get taken out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the kind of hood this is. All right. So he set it all up, went inside, and then we pulled around to the back alley, and then I walked into the back door, and it was like, just like, honestly, like I should have just opened my eyes at this point and been like, I will never do this ever again. Like, the dude, like the main dealer, literally looked like Big Pun. It was crazy. Like I thought I was in a rap video or something. So I got my 3 pounds, and then I'm driving home, and sure enough, coppers pull up right behind me, lights on. Woo! Crap in my pants. I thought I was done right away. Didn't even get the deal for more than 10 minutes. Didn't even hand out a single bag yet, and I'm done. But thankfully, the cop blew past me, and we were all good. So I basically started with weed and rolled that into, in Chicago. Well, I went to school at Western, which is WIU. It's obviously the west side of Illinois. So I rolled weed into basically I sold coke, keys. I sold hundreds and hundreds of ecstasy pills at a time. Those were my main deals, but when you're in that business, you kind of start to think like, okay, how can I make money but also stay somewhat safe and not go to the clink for the rest of my life or not get shot and taken out? So eventually, by the end of it, I ended up just selling weed and pulled out of some of the other games. And I'll share what happened to some of my partners who were in that game after I eventually had pulled out. So when I went to college, my original intention was to go to the FBI, which is interesting because I was selling drugs. And I still wanted to be in the FBI. But it wasn't about money, because I'm sure they make decent money, but it was more about top shelf is profitable. Yeah, that's what I was doing. It was direct delivery from BC, Canada at that point, and it was fire. So I wanted to be in the FBI. That was my thing. But it wasn't for money. It was more about adventure and power and control was like my main pull into going into the whole FBI route. Little did I know that being an entrepreneur and running a business grants you all of those. It gives you power and control over your company, over yourself, over your own life. And it's an adventure. It's the new sport. It's the new action-adventure sport for adults, basically. So later on I figured that out. But while I was in college, I kind of did a lot of different hustles. When my mom died, I got a small inheritance, and I started trading that. My dad actually petitioned the judge to allow us to have access to that money before I was 18, which legally I'm not supposed to have access to it. He granted it because my other buddy's dad was a lawyer. It's all about who you know. If you got connections, things happen. That's how that works in terms of the court and systems. You better know the judge, basically. So he allowed me to trade that, and me and my dad actually grew that into about $250,000. Throughout college. So I started trading while I was in college. I was using Ameritrade. I don't even know if they're still around. at the time, and it wasn't like day trading type stuff. It was just normal trading, long-term type stuff. Also, while I was in college, so I was selling drugs the whole time, but I also, because I always have that hustle, I'm always trying to get that exposure, trying to get access to more people. So I was a waiter. It was a top restaurant in the city. I'm talking city administrators. It was only open on the weekends. And the crazy part was the way I got the job. Again, it's all about who you know and your connections. My roommate worked there, and there was a waiting list of like probably 100 people to work there. I didn't even want to work there, but the owner needed some help at her farm. So I got pulled out to go do it, and she literally asked me a question. She goes, "What's on a Caesar salad?" And I answered it. She goes, "All right, you're hired." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, I didn't even know I was applying, but I'll take the job because it's a gangster job." Then I did that for about a year, and then rolled out. My buddy opened a bar, so then I became a bar manager at the bar. It was the Brick House, and it was, again, a great avenue for me to sell drugs. I was selling booze, and I was also selling drugs. You put a little Coke bag underneath one cup, put another cup inside, fill their drink. Here's your gin and tonic. That'll be $150, right? So it was just the constant hustle, always ways to work around the system and trying to get myself bringing in that money, right? Because that was kind of my focus at that point. And I was flashy. I had the rings. I had the bracelets, the gold, the chains, all that kind of stuff. And like I'm over the flash now, but it's that young money. And you see that a lot with these rappers too. You know, they get that young money, they start to just waste it. MC Hammer, you know, that style, and then all of a sudden, boom, day broke. Same thing happened in the mortgage industry out here in California. Tons of guys made tons of money, buy 6 houses, 4 different cars, and then all of a sudden the market crashes. Now I'm stuck. So it's not about that flash. Chief Keef, yeah, that's right, boy. Ricky, that's funny. So also when I was in college, I started getting involved with Amway, which I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's basically a multi-level company. And just based on my networking and all that kind of stuff, I killed it. I blew that business up and was like, I don't know if you guys know about Amway, but I was basically 2,500 Eagle in college, which is cool. So I had money coming in from all kinds of different streams, even when I was in college. I started a entertainment company with a roommate of mine. We basically did parties. Chris Foltz, Nate Dizzle, know him. Did parties. We managed a couple different artists up in Chicago, setting up gigs for them, getting them contracts, all that kind of stuff. And then me and him also started a political consulting company, which was cool. We ran a state race for Zynga. Foltz, yeah, Norton, you're going to meet him someday, Chase. Foltz is crazy. He needs to get into politics like ASAP. But anyway, so we ran a state Senate race, and it actually ended up losing because it was against a incumbent, and he had Parkinson's, so it was just a real hard, touchy thing to try to work the right market angles with that. It was just like he had kind of a sympathy vote, and he ended up winning, but regardless. Then we also got pulled in to work on a gubernatorial race down in Mississippi for Haley Barbour, which was crazy. Cool story. We got invited to the mega event up in Northern Illinois University. My eyes are going back and forth because I'm trying to look at the comments, and I'm also trying to look at the camera to make it somewhat appropriate in terms of where I'm looking. But so we got invited to this mega event in Northern Illinois. It's basically the mega event, the biggest fundraiser for the Republican Party every year. Or I don't know if they still do it, but so me and my boy get invited to this. You know, we roll up. We get there a little early. So what do? Drive around, blow some lines in the car, smoke a blunt, blow lines. Let me explain that. That means doing lines of cocaine. So we're driving around doing lines of cocaine and smoking blunts. Yeah, Republican. So then we walked in and basically just owned this place. He immediately got to sit down with Dennis Hastert, which was the Speaker of the House at the time, and just lit this dude up on economic policy. It was just crazy. And then ended up sneaking through Secret Service security in 2 different locations, snuck past all the major donors, like I'm talking like big, huge, multi-million-dollar people who were the big donors for the mega event. So they were in line waiting to get their picture taken with Dennis Hastert and Elizabeth Dole. Well, we snuck through security, got in that, cut the line, I got a free gin and tonic, and then I got my picture taken with both of them. It's on Facebook, I think. My dad posted it. He doesn't know the story behind it, but that's what happened. So anyway, that's just an interesting story with the political side of things, I got to meet Dennis Hastert, got to meet George Bush, Elizabeth Dole, Haley Barbour, some cool-ass people. And all the time just ripping on coke and weed. So I was able to kind of play both sides of the fence pretty well. I was a little bit of a chameleon. Let me backtrack a little bit. So when I first got into college, I wanted to do the FBI, right? So me being the hustler that I am, I'm always trying to get that next edge. I'm always trying to get ahead of people. So I was like, what would look good on a resume if I'm trying to get in the FBI? Some kind of military stuff, right? So I went and applied for the Army, got in, obviously everything was cool, and then I decided to go early to my reserve duty before I was even in, just to check it out and kind of basically kiss ass and get there early. Sorry I didn't make it in, but if you did, thanks for serving. So I go to my first reserve duty. I'm not even in yet. I'm not anything. I'm just a guy showing up to kiss ass. And the scientists come marching in. They freaking duct tape the doors and said, everybody in here is taking a drug test. And I was still high from the night before. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. Like, I hope I don't have to take it. And they're like, does this guy have to take it? And the guy's like, everybody in the room takes it. So of course they pull you in. They watch you pee in a cup. I knew I was busted. I was just wondering how much stuff they were going to catch in my urine. So a couple weeks go by, I don't get any phone calls. I'm thinking, maybe I just have maybe I've been doing it so long, my body just processes it and gets it out real good. Maybe I got some kind of gangster drug release system or something, right? So then 2 more weeks go by, and here it's time for reserve duty again. I'm like, sweet, no calls, I'm in. Go apply for duty. I don't know rankings or, but I think it was like staff sergeant or something. Pulls me in. He's like, hey, dude, you got popped on your drug test. I'm like, And I was kind of waiting, what was on it? And he said, you just got busted for weed. But so basically it came down to the commander, and he said, nah, you're not going. So I got basically not a discharge, but you never existed kind of thing. So at that point, I kind of figured I need to change the whole FBI plan. It's probably not going to work out. I should probably switch that up and figure out something that I can do with the record that I now have. So I switched it to business and a little bit of accounting, but accounting was stupid. And then I went to computer science. So the thing about college, though, especially now, everybody is talking about how, college is not worth it. Don't go to college. College is a trap. It can be, yeah, but the bottom line is it's an option. And if you want to do that, especially if you need to get some kind of specific degree like engineering or whatever, go to college, go do it, whatever. I mean, it's not like college is a waste. It can be a waste, yeah, but here's the deal. If you're going to go to college, use it. Pimp college. Get involved in everything. Get involved with student government. Get involved with all the committees. Get to know the administrators, the state, and all that kind of stuff. I went to college too. I mean, I don't really use my degrees, but I'm telling you, if you are in college right now and you're watching this, or you're going to college, then use it. Use it, because you're there paying money to be there. Get as many connections as possible. Get involved with as much stuff as you possibly can and pimp that place. Because they're taking your money, then you better pimp them too and get as much out of them as you possibly can. Use it. Use college. I got all kinds of stuff set up for you. I had a free lawyer when I was in college. Thank God. I got to set up my own drug tests. That's pretty gangster. I got arrested for growing weed when I was in college. I forgot to mention that. So yeah, I was on presidential scholarship in college, just smashing it. And yeah, bookstores are cheaper. Here's the thing. I love that, Big Dreamer, because I didn't know how to grow weed. Obviously, I'm not a weed grower. But you know what I did? I got my MBA on Google on how to grow weed. Just like you can go do anything you want on Google to figure out what you want to do. You can go from zero to hero in a couple weeks if you put the time and invest the time into reading the books, looking this stuff up, figuring out how to do it. It's all online. We have access to so much information nowadays. You can literally be anything you want to be in a couple weeks. Chris, yeah, I got 2 degrees and I don't really use them either. I have a computer science degree and a business management degree. I mean, computer science, I made banking software, programmed the video games, so I was doing actual coding when I was in college. And then business, obviously everything's business, so that kind of helped. But so when I was in college, I knew I had to get involved. So I got involved with student government. I was a senator, and then I rolled that into being IFC president. So I was literally the president of all fraternities on my campus, and I had never been to a meeting. My fraternity guys were like, hey, you should run for IFC, and I'm like, IFC is Interfraternity Council. And I was like, what position should I run for? And they were like, president, just go for it. And I was like, all right, screw it, I'll go do it. I had never been to a meeting before in my life, ever. But you know what? I went in there and I frickin' nailed that speech and sold it. And I got elected. I didn't even know how to run my first meeting because I'd never been to one. But when you go in there and you sell it, that's what happens. When you walk in with confidence and you say the things that need to be said to the people and tell them what they want to hear, not that I was lying, but I got elected. So from there, then I parlayed that into student government, vice president, and was vice president of 15,000 students. I was actually going to leave college because I already had a degree, but I was like, screw it. I'll run a campaign, and if I get elected, then I'll just stay because they're going to pay for my degree. So I stayed and then ended up getting a free second degree. So that was cool for me. But the cool thing is, like, I see the big dream in here talking about college, and I love it, bro, because I'm on the same page, but I'm just telling these people, if you are in college, then you better pimp it. But when I was in college, you want to know what I did every single day? This is what I did. I rolled up about 3 or 4 blunts, and I drove around with my friend, and we smoked the shit out of those blunts, and we listened to Tony Robbins, we listened to motivational CDs, we listened to business coaching. That's all I did, every single day. I would drive around, smoke blunts, and then listen to this kind of stuff and talk about businesses that we want to start. And lo and behold, we started all those businesses in college. Because if college, you need to check out your requirements in terms of attendance. And most of the time, you can just show up on test day if you're good enough and just take the test and smash it and get out of there. So when I got done with college, I knew that I had to kind of get out of the drug game. And I wanted out of Chicago area anyway. So I moved to California and left that game. Because honestly, when you're in the drug game, one of a couple things happen. Either you make a ton of money and you pull out in the right time and you move to Mexico and you're never heard from again. Rare. Or you end up in jail. Or you end up dead. And honestly, one of the guys that I was partnering with in college and running some game with, Marquise, he stayed in the game, and he was in the coke game when I stayed in the weed game, and Nate Dizzle's in here, and he knows him. Marquise ended up getting executed, man. I mean, people broke into his house and, like, point blank had him on his knees, gun to his head, executed. That's what happens in that game. And that was one of the reasons I left, because I needed to get out of that. So I came out to California, started doing real estate. I was basically managing a real estate office. We were doing about anywhere from, like, 10 to 15, sometimes 20 million a month in closes for houses, which was cool. I still have my real estate license. I don't really use it, but I just keep it. Why not? Because I have it. Then from there, I opened a juice bar. I was still investing. I invested in real estate. One condo in Arizona, I literally never even saw. I still don't even know the address. I made 100% on it in 1 year and pulled out of it. So, I mean, that was a nice, cool little setup. And I'll also mention, like, that trading, how I grew it to 250K. I lost 100 grand of that. So it ain't all sunshines and roses. And I'll tell you why I lost 100 grand of that. Some of that went to charity, some of that went to church, but the majority of it went to people in need. And a lot of people say I'm stupid to give that money out to those people, but you know what? I consider it a seed sown, and I consider it helping people who are in need, because money's money. I don't really care. I'll make some more money. It ain't no thing. Literally. 100 grand sounds like a lot of money, and I could have done a lot of things with that, but you know what? I changed a couple people's lives and possibly saved their life. So for me, it's absolutely worth it, and I'll make that up again. No doubt. Pulled out of real estate, made a bunch of money. I was still in Amway at the time, and I got the opportunity to move in. If you guys know anything about Amway, I got to move in with a triple diamond, which is darn near one of the top levels in that entire organization, which was cool because I got to really study direct one-on-one with a mentor on how to network, how to do business, how to control your schedule. And I'm talking, I hustled. I literally had appointments set up 30 days a month of doing work in the morning and then doing the Amway stuff at night after that. My screen just went dark. I hope it doesn't shut out. Nice. And then after that, I started one of my buddies moved from Chicago into that same house for mentorship, and me and him started a fitness company. We grew it to number 2 in Orange County within like a couple years. Just killed it. My buddy Corey, he's actually still has a gym, still running it. That last scope that I had done on my own account was at his gym where I worked out with Uncle Creepy. And then from there, though, I just kind of had like a little bit of a old school. Amway is old school, baby, and I rocked it. It was awesome. Some of the best learning I've ever got, though, in terms of business. I learned more from my fraternity, from selling drugs, and from Amway than I did taking business classes in college. I mean, just throwing that out there for, again, the whole college debate. So after the fitness company, I basically kind of had like an awakening. I just needed to kind of find myself. So got rid of everything, sold all my stuff, got rid of all my clients, sold my car, got rid of everything. And then moved up to Pasadena. I was basically homeless, living on couches, and I was just doing community service work, just doing church-type work, just giving back, finding myself, right? And that was when I basically committed my life to the Lord and had a big change. And that was a big part of when I started to stop trusting myself and start trusting in something else. And I'll explain that in a little bit here. So after that, while I was doing that, the whole military thing was like with the Army thing, that was like a kid's lifetime dream for me. Because my great-grandpa was in World War II, or World War something. My grandpa was in World War II, and my dad was in Vietnam. So it was kind of like, I don't know, a family thing. I just always kind of wanted to do it. So again, while I was in this church thing, I applied to the Marines, got the highest written test score ever in the history of Orange County, smashed it. I obviously smashed the physical stuff because that's what I was doing at the time. They were trying to put me in the officers program. I'm like, no, I just want the normal stuff, and that was it. And then I was 1 week out from shipping out to boot camp, and they're like, yeah, you have too much on your FBI record. We can't take you, so they cut me, which honestly, thank God, because the catalyst for the change, PJ, thank you for asking that question. Let me go back to college. Where that catalyst for change originally started was actually in college. I just never pursued it. So a lot of times we get these ideas and we get these concepts of what we know we need to do, but we don't necessarily go do it right away. It's all your own timing of when you step into it and actually accept it and commit and take responsibility. So that catalyst for change honestly originally started in college, PJ. I was sitting at home. Here we go. Sitting at home, blowing lines of heroin by myself, and OD'd. There was always a guy at the University of Union, which is like the central hub of our university. And he was always asking me to do Bible studies, and he was some kind of pastor, youth pastor or something. And I was always like, nah, I'm busy, bro. I got stuff going on. Like, I don't need your Bible. I got to figure it out. I'm slanging, I'm banging, making money, running the school, baby. Like, why do I need your help? Well, when you almost die and you wake up in a pile of your own stuff, wondering what the hell happened and why am I still here, you start to look for answers. And I sought him out, and I went and found him, and he basically kind of broke it down to me, what the whole Bible thing is, what Jesus is, all that whole process, what it all means, because I didn't go to church as a kid. I'd never been to church. I didn't know anything about it. So that was honestly the original catalyst. And then coming back to Cali, going through all that kind of stuff, I kind of realized I was still not over any of that. I had heroin shipped in here from Chicago to California at one point, and I did some out here. I mean, like, I'm talking to the point where I'm like passing out at dinner tables, like passing out in a club. Still got a girl's number though, because I got game. But that it was just a continued catalyst from that original moment of ODing, knowing that like I haven't fully beat this yet, and I know that I can eat very quickly, very easily, step right back into that system or that lifestyle. So I just knew that I had to change, and that was it. I was cutting it, done. When you know you need to make the right decision and you commit to it, then that's it. It's done. You're going for it. So that's why that was the catalyst to move me up to Pasadena to start making those changes, is that I knew I wasn't completely clean of all that stuff, and I saw myself kind of starting to head back down that direction. So thank you for that question, PJ. That kind of brought up a little bit more stuff of some of the nasty. So back after the whole church thing, then I got together with one of my good friends, Chase. He might still be in here, and we were talking about a concept for a water company, which we basically then launched. We took it from like 0 to, I don't know, probably like 30, 40 grand a month. So for a concept to generating revenue and being a successful business. The whole idea behind it was that there's water delivery companies and then there's also water stores where people go for specialized water. So we combined those two and basically started a high-end water delivery service. So it's ultra pure, high alkaline water delivered in all glass bottles. And they still exist, mendwater.com. If you live in Southern California, go to the website and sign up. Mention my name. I'm sure Chase will give you a discount. If not, at least go check out the website, mendwater.com. They're the bomb. And Chase is still running it. I love the company. The branding's tight. It's sick. Love everything about it. I love him. And they're now expanding in a couple different areas too. So the company's still around, and it's going to be mega, which I knew it was going to be back then. But I had to pull out and start to go after my call, my dream, which was medicine, because I am called to healing. So during the water company, also a little tidbit on the water company. When people talk about hustling and putting in the work, let me share my story of doing that. So we started the water company. The warehouse was down in Newport Beach. I lived in Pasadena, which was too far of a drive to make that every single day. So I slept in our warehouse, and Chase slept in there with me a bunch of nights too. So my entire first year of marriage, I was sleeping in a warehouse during the week and only was home on the weekends. So I only saw my brand new wife on the weekends. But the beauty of it is that she understood the hustle and she understood the grind and she saw the vision. I was able to explain the vision enough that she was okay with that and accepted it and let me do that. So, marriage lesson, find somebody that's going to partner with you and grow with you and support you and build you up, and not where you at, where you at, why are you doing this, where you at, where you at. You got to be on the same page, and it comes down to communication. So anyway, yeah, we slept in the warehouse. In fact, Chase burned his arm because it was so cold in the warehouse. We had to have space heaters, and he had one right by him, and he fell asleep, and the thing like tipped over and landed on his arm. And I don't know how long he was cooking. He was probably cooking all night, but he woke up the next day with a big-ass blister on his arm from the space heater rocking his arm so close. So it was rough, but you know what? We smashed it. The company's killing it, and everything worked out. You know, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to sacrifice. It is what it is. I mean, and when you have a dream and you have a vision and you're committed to it, then you commit 100% and you go after it. That's it. So while I was doing the water company, I knew that I was eventually called to medicine. So I started taking classes while I was doing the whole water company. I was doing this at the same time. Started getting certifications in medicine so I can get that knowledge, get that wisdom, or get more of it. Ended up getting myself a medical director. So now I have a medical director. I can run any lab a doctor can do. I can basically do all the stuff that doctors can do, except I can't prescribe drugs, obviously, which I wouldn't do that anyway. And now rolling that into what's next for me is basically to create an app that will aggregate all my protocols into one specific easy system that people could just plug in and figure that out. And long term is to have a inpatient wellness center, kind of like an anti-hospital, and it'll be tropical. Got a friend in Costa Rica that's got 850 acres, which he's developing into an eco wellness resort, which is going to be probably where this center will be located. So if you guys know anything about celebrity rehabs, basically people check in for a full month, and it's anywhere from 50, 80, 100 grand for 1 month, and they stay there and they get that whole lifestyle change, and then they check out. This will be the same kind of idea. It'll be holistic wellness, acupuncture, chiropractic, MD, ND, DOs, massage, exercise, all that kind of stuff, all coupled into one center with an organic garden. All the food is farm to table direct there on site. So the whole thing is all set up right there on site. and it basically develops that holistic lifestyle performance while you're in place, and then check out after 30 days. So it can either be a prevention center, a recovery center if you're already dealing with something like cancer or whatever, and then or just somebody that's trying to take their game to the next level to parlay that into an actual lifestyle change. Question here: how long have I been clean from drugs? I smoke weed occasionally, but which is legal in California anyway. But I don't do I don't do drugs. I've been clean. I've been clean since I left California or Chicago. So, and I didn't do a program or anything. I didn't go to AA. I just knew I needed to stop being an idiot and stop taking drugs, or I'm gonna die. So that was enough for me to pull out. I didn't have to do rehab or anything like that. I just made a decision and committed. That was it. So that's pretty much the story where I'm at right now. That's it. I'm at the medicine point where I'm taking classes for med school. I'm not sure if I'm going to fully do med school. I'm still kind of praying about that because technically to have the center, I don't need to have a medical degree. I just need a medical director, which I have access to plenty of those. I don't need to be licensed to run it. Mendwater.com, there it is. Check it out. Chase will love it if you go check that out. Just send him an email, ask him about it, whatever. So all of that, to bring that back all together in terms of a little bit of a lesson learned here so you can take something away from this. Business. What is common in every single business? No matter what business you run, there's one common thread in everything. It ain't a product, it ain't a manufacturer, it ain't a supplier, it ain't any of that stuff. It's people. Every single business has people. Employees, people running it, clients, there's people in every single business, no matter what business you run. That's the one common thread in every single business. So you better learn how to handle people, how to communicate with them, how to communicate with different people, how to give them what they need, how to tell them what they want to hear in a truthful way. So for me, I had to deal with how to talk a crackhead down off the ledge because he's wigging out because he doesn't have enough drugs, all the way to now launching a water company, and I'm meeting with the president of Hurley, Bob Hurley. I'm meeting with VPs at Oakley. I'm meeting with the founder of Boost Mobile. You know, I'm talking like big, heavy hitters, multi-millionaires, CEOs running huge companies. So you need to have a balance of how to work with every single person and how to communicate with every single different person at every level. You got to be a chameleon. Every single business is going to have people involved. And then so in terms of dope dealer to hope dealer, I have a reminder set on my phone every single day at noon. And the question is, how do I want to be known, or how do I want to be perceived? My name is Chance Dite. How do I want to be perceived with my interactions with people? And here's the 3 words that I have set on a reminder at noon every single day to remind me how I need to interact with people. Number 1, fully present. Right here, right now, I am fully present in this moment. I want to be fully present with people, aware of what's going on with them, reading their body signals, hearing what they're saying, and really listening. To feel that person. Number 2, to walk in the Spirit. And if you're not really spiritual or anything like that, then we're spiritual beings. I'm hoping that you can agree with that. Then to walk in that spiritual being and not be stuck into the whole worldly, fleshly stuff of I need money, I need this, I need materials, I need these things. No, just be in the Spirit and be present. And number 3, on that 3-word thing that I see every day at noon is hope. Every single interaction I have with somebody, I want to leave them with hope. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. I want to leave people with hope. Whatever that looks like. Maybe they're having a shitty day and I just make them smile. I leave them with a little bit of hope. There's way too much stuff going on with bad news. The economy sucks. Stock market's going down. We're possibly going to war with all these different things. The refugees over in the Middle East. Poor people. People who are hungry. All these different things going on. Leave someone with hope when you talk to them today. Build them up. That's it. It's all people and it's all love. Every single thing that you do in life is going to involve both of those. So that's the whole dope dealer to hope dealer thing. Do I drink alcohol? Not really. I mean, I'm not against it, but I'll have maybe a glass a month. So from dope to hope, leave people with hope. And the last one that I talked about was in terms of stop trusting myself. So when I went to that whole phase of being basically homeless, living on couches, all that kind of stuff, at that moment is when I stopped trusting myself. And I'll explain what that means. Let me pull this up real quick. So I stopped trusting myself, and I'll tell you what it's based on. It's based on Psalm 118:8. Psalm 118:8. And a nice little factoid about that verse is that's the exact middle of the Bible, is this verse. Coincidence? I don't know. I don't believe in coincidence, but here's that verse. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. So, that includes yourself. When you trust yourself and think that you know everything that's right and everything that you need to do, you're trusting in man. There's spiritual and there's the mental side of things. So, you need to put your trust in the Lord, which He has a specific call on your life, and you are here for a specific reason. When you figure that out, you can put your trust in Him to chase that down and leave the badass water company that's going to be a monster. You can leave the drug dealing, which was bringing tons of cash. I got friends making several $100,000 a month doing it. You can walk away from that kind of stuff when you know what you're called to do, and when you trust in the Lord that He's going to provide for that and take you to that spot. So, I stopped trusting myself that I need to make all the decisions, and I need to have all the right answers, and I need to know this and that and this and that. I know what I'm called to, and I know where I'm being led. So I trust the Lord that He has that set up for me, and that He has blessings in that. And there's all kinds of promises in the Bible with promises that He has for us, a hope for us, a calling for us. So that was a big change in my life, was when I stopped trusting in myself, and then I had to have everything under control. Because you're never going to have everything under control, bottom line. So I mean that's pretty much it. I got one last thing that I will possibly leave you with at the end of this. But do we have any questions about that? Yeah, number 1, fully present. Number 2, walk in the Spirit. And number 3, leave people with hope. I have 2 other reminders. One that comes on at 8 a.m. and one that comes on at 8 p.m. Maybe we'll talk about that in a different scope. But those are the 3 that pop up at noon. Anybody got any questions? Hope I'm on time. I haven't even been watching the time. 45 minutes. I'm right on the money. Dope smokes dope. That's true. Anybody got any questions for me? I'm seeing the hearts kind of come up here intermittently, so I don't know if my connection's ghetto. I hope you guys are seeing me clearly and I'm not kind of choppy in and out. Anybody got any questions about slanging dope or slanging hope? Either way. I think I'm froze. I'm not seeing anything pop up. So I might be froze, so I'm just going to end with this, and then hopefully we're cool. Ricky, if you got anything you want to throw down, or you want me to specifically cover, let me know. So, one last thing. Yeah, I'm gonna. Thankfully, my wifey's watching this in the other room, and so I'm gonna leave you with a couple different things. Number 1, as a give back to the parapreneurs community, if anybody wants a one-on-one consult with me, and honestly, I'll talk about anything you want. And I've been through all kinds of different stuff, and I have a nice well of knowledge on a lot of different stuff. I'm sure most of you will probably want to pick my brain in terms of the whole holistic wellness thing, even though I didn't touch on my qualifications for that in this video. Other than I have a medical director and I'm basically a doctor. But go to my Instagram, which is Chance Encounters, CHANCE Encounters, at Chance Encounters. And then I just reposted the Parapreneurs post about this exact broadcast. Go on there and make a comment, direct comment in there to me, and then I'll get a contact from you or direct message from you, and we'll set something up. So I'll do a 15-minute phone call with 5 to 10 people. Can't do everybody, but I will do 5 to 10 people. So go to the Instagram, Chance Encounters, comment on that my very last post, which was the Parapreneurs broadcast post of this, and then I'll get in touch with you and we'll figure it out. So we're going to talk about wellness. You can talk about drugs if you're having problems with drugs, if you're having problems with life, marriage problems, whatever it is you want to talk about. So on my specific screen here, I'm not getting any comments or hearts. So I'm not seeing that. I got one here though. But appreciate Kanye's new. So one last thing, and then I'll hop off this. One last thing is that I see a lot of people who post the whole never satisfied thing. Never satisfied, and it's cool and it's a nice tagline for the whole hustle game, the whole hustle and grind. It's like it's a popular, cool thing right now. A lot of people say never satisfied. I don't agree with that. I think you should always be satisfied, but never finished. And I'm going to explain why. Philippians 4:12. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. This guy's life is good? I don't know what you mean by that. So, always satisfied, or never satisfied. A lot of people have actually branded that. Well, I don't agree with that. Like I said, you should always be satisfied but never finish. And here's the point. If you are not satisfied, technically you're not satisfied with the results, which means you really shouldn't be satisfied with the work, because the work you did has produced the results that you're getting right now. So if you're not satisfied, then change your work, because the results are directly depending on what you've done. And that's it. But you should always be satisfied, because whatever you have done up until this point has created what you have right now. So if you're not satisfied, then change the work. But be content in that you are happy no matter what. Make sense? Hope that made sense. Preach. I'll preach all day, son. You know it. Oh, I got some comments popping up now. Nice. We're going. Any other questions? So let me revisit that. I haven't hit a home run yet. I'm not some multi-millionaire. I don't drive a Bentley. A lot of these guys on these Periscope channels, they've hit some home runs. I haven't hit one yet. I've hit a lot of singles. I've struck out a few times. Hit a couple doubles. Hit a Big Papa. What's up, Blair? I hit a triple. I haven't hit my home run yet. But you know what? I'm extremely happy. Why? Because I choose to be happy with what I have. I am content with what I have. I'm not finished by any means, and I got a long way to go. But I am content and happy and satisfied with where I'm at, because it's what I've done to get to this point, and that's it. Oh, we got Daily Dose in here? Nice. What up, Tim? So I hope that makes sense to you guys. It might be somewhat confusing, but the scripture is Philippians 4:12, if you guys want to go look at it. Any other questions for me before I hop off here? Comments are freezing again. Almost what kind of doctor? Well, I'm taking classes for med school. So the medical profession that I want to pursue is naturopathic doctor. In terms of the whole Hippocratic Oath of first do no harm, I think they are top of the top, number one, in terms of doctors doing that. They are a little bit more rounded and holistic. When it comes to medicine, I believe in treating the person, not the disease. I believe in treating the person, not the disease, because everybody's biochemically different, and one disease, one specific kind of disease is going to be different in each body. So I like that they treat the person and not the disease. It's a holistic approach. I'm going to look down at my phone so I can actually see these comments, because they're not popping up on my iPad. Homeopathy, yeah. They study a little bit of homeopathy in naturopathic. And the school that I'm looking at is actually Bastyr, and I'm pretty sure they do a homeopathy program. But I'm just more committed to the actual full 4-year program if I'm going to do it, because I want the medical license. Yeah, luck. The person can heal disease. Yeah, that's vitalism, and that the body is designed to heal itself. And you talk to any chiropractor, and they'll preach that all day. Tim, daily dose. Yeah, happiness is a choice. It's not an outcome. So, I mean, it's your decision. It's all perception. It's your decision. Literally, when you wake up in the morning, you decide if you're happy or not. It ain't your spouse. It ain't your wife. It ain't your dog, who's bothering me right now. It ain't any of that. It ain't your job. It ain't any of that stuff. It's up to you to make that decision to be happy no matter what. Naturopathic. Almost what kind of doctor? Naturopathic. I do the same kind of approach and protocols and methodology as a naturopath. I'm not a doctor, though. I want to make that clear. I'm not a doctor. Anything else? Anything else? So, let me recap real quick. Number one common thread in every single business. Yeah, Chance Encounters. That's it right there, Luck. At Chance Encounters. That's my Instagram. So let me recap real quick. Business, the one common thread is people. Learn how to handle people. Learn how to love on people. Learn how to leave them with hope. You need to learn how to manage every single kind of person. If you need to go study psychology tests and that kind of stuff, then do what you need to do. But study people, learn people, and know how to interact with them and know how to communicate. Number 2, I stopped trusting myself, and you should too. Trust in the Lord, not in man. And if you want to do one of those consults, then we could talk. I'll take you to church all day if you want. I'll talk Scripture all day. If you're an atheist and you got questions, that's fine too. I have no problem with that. I love everybody. And then the last one is never be satisfied. I don't agree with that. Always be satisfied. Always be content in where you're at. If you're not satisfied, then you're not satisfied in the work, and then that's what you know you need to change. Anything else? What do I got? What do I got? Yes, sir. Yeah, those are my 3 things. Fully present, walk in the Spirit, leave them with hope. My thoughts on Amway now, I think I just saw that pop up. Here's the deal with all multi-level companies, in that and this is just my opinion, you could take it or leave it, and I've heard other people say the same thing. You probably won't hear it come from somebody who's in one, because when you're in it, you're sold out, and you're in it to win it. So MLMs, I think, are a perfect setup for somebody that doesn't have a lot of business experience or a lot of business skills, or haven't maybe started a business on their own, because they have all the infrastructure, they have all the products set up, they have a lot of the marketing set up, they have the coaching set up most of the time. Everything is there for you to learn. So, I mean, here's the thing. If you're going to do it and you think that's your end game, then you better sell out and go 100% and be fully committed and blow that up above and beyond everything else. If you're going to go do it as a hobby, it ain't going to work. If you're going to do it as a side thing, it ain't going to work. If you want to go do it just to learn business, that's cool, and that'll work. You're going to learn a lot of business. You're going to learn a lot of different skills. But if it's your end game, you better 100% sell out. That's it. But I think it's great for people who don't have a ton of business skills, or just want to step into something that's already structured and built. I don't have anything against it. I wouldn't personally do it again, but... somebody asked what businesses I own. I own Nutridenity. I also own Healing Hope Foundation. It's a charity foundation out of Arizona. So technically, those are the 2 companies I own. One's an LLC and one's a nonprofit. Someone asked, my wife's telling me the questions people are asking because mine's jacked. If I'm walking in my calling, yes, I am. Right now, I'm called to be a healer. I am called to medicine. And I'm called to do stuff like this. So, MLM only if I owned it. Big dreamer, that's right. I think about that all the time, starting it. I want to be the top cap of the pyramid, baby. You know what I'm saying? Build it down, baby. Bring it all back up to me. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, if I was going to do an MLM, I'd start one. Blow it up. So yeah, in terms of walking in my calling, yes, I am. I am walking in my calling right now. And that's medicine and healing. Did I make good money at Amway? I made decent money. I wasn't like, I didn't make it to the retirement level, but I did. I mean, it was a couple $1,000 a month, which is decent for an MLM. It's probably, in terms of the grand scheme of MLMs and the whole thing, it's probably top 5%, I would guess. Just guessing, because most people don't make that much money in MLMs, at least for a long time. Any other questions for me? IG Chance Encounters, there it is. Thanks. Thanks, dolls. Sweet. All right, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down then. So thank you guys. Parapreneurs is the bomb. You guys stay tuned because this is an amazing platform, amazing channel. And the people that I've got to do Google Hangouts with and just hang out with and do like kind of like meetings, corporate meetings with them or whatever, like little get-togethers, solid, absolutely solid people. I mean, just tremendous. And they've all just come together on a joint vision and a common thread that they are going to basically develop business people and entrepreneurs. And I love this. I absolutely love what they're doing, and I'm in full support of them. So any way you guys can support them, you guys got to do it. So this is a sick team. I love it. And I'm going to help them out as much as I possibly can. Cool. So, all right, guys, that's it. It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot. Go hit that Instagram account, and I'll set up some consults with a handful of people. Love you guys, and have a great day. I don't know how to turn this thing off yet. Swipes coming in all over the place. Well, it won't work. This is awesome. I hope you guys are still watching because this is hilarious. This is the first time I've done an iPad and I can't turn it off. Ah, there it is. Give it to me.